What's up guys, we're back installing more parts for dyno prepisode number 6. Gotta get this thing ready to tune. Today I'm installing 2 catch cans. We're basically creating a PCV system, a positive crankcase ventilation system. There's a couple different kinds of PCV systems you can create and they're used. One uses vacuum to draw blow-by and crankcase and head vent pressure out. Another is basically just an open ventilation system, which is what we're creating today. You know, I would say that the vacuum system is probably much more efficient at drawing, you know, blow-by, bad oil that's created by pressure going around your piston rings and into your crankcase. But what we need to accomplish is basically make sure that our crank vent and our head vents aren't just spewing oil in the event of a lot of blow-by into our engine bay, onto our hot turbo or exhaust manifold and stuff like that while we're tuning. So we aren't using vacuum to draw it out, which will affect our oil life because that carbon and blow-by buildup will happen in our oil system. And we'll probably add a sealed can system with vacuum later, but right now we're gonna use a ventilated system. So let's get these things installed and get ready to tune this thing. Got a few days. Right here is where we're going to be installing the catch cans. They'll both sit level and the vents will face this direction. And then we will have to run our lines. After we get the cans mounted right there, we're going to have to run our lines to the crankcase vent and the head vents. And on the boxer engine, there's 2 heads and there's 1 crank vent, at least on this EJ20. And I'll show you where those are right now. So here is one of the head's vents. I have it, you know, mocked up from when I had these installed before. We're gonna have to cut the lines and route them differently, stuff like that. Here's the other one in the same place on the other head. On the top of the crankcase, I have it plugged so nothing falls in there while I'm working on it. You've got your crankcase vent right there. So the reason that I'm running 2 catch cans is because the heads and the crank operate under different pressures and it's never gonna be equal from one to the other. So rather than pressurizing one from the other by hooking them together, we're gonna run 2 cans and just capture this stuff for now and not allow it to spray all over the engine bay if we have an issue and get a lot of blow-by. And then in the near future, we'll probably hook up a vacuum line and create a sealed system, which is really easy. So let's get these things installed. We're gonna have to drill some holes, mount them up, run the lines. Shouldn't be too hard. So we're going to use the stock mounting holes right here. I don't remember what actually mounted there. As you can see, like I've gutted a lot of stuff out of here. So those will work for one of our cans to just mount well right there. We'll have to rotate it, but that'll serve as our bracket holes. And then we're gonna have to drill 2 more. Right here, you can see where I've marked out. And the cans slide up and down in their holders. So we'll be able to level them out, rotate them around and face them in the directions that we need. There's our first one. Gonna have to make some adjustments to it though, and which direction everything faces before we get it all tightened in. All right, we got one mounted. We're gonna drill 2 holes right here for our next one, so they sit side by side. You can use a punch to set it so that our drill bit doesn't wander all over, hopefully. I'm really bad at drilling. Got our pilot holes. Kinda ghetto, different hardware. I get it, just using what I have. Let's get this thing in there. All right, let's get this installed. So I think I'll have them sit that direction with the vent facing forward. Tighten up our collar a little bit, just keep it in place. We'll have to adjust it when we get the other one in here. There we go. All right, got the cans themselves installed. It looks all right. I hate the red vents, but it was cheap and we'll probably get rid of them later if we do a vacuum system. Check it out. So we're gonna make this one for our heads and this one for our crank and run those lines right now. Got the heads connected. Now let's connect the crank. All right, so there's our crank ventilation. And we're gonna run from here over to our other catch can. Jake's there! Jake, help, Jake, show him, dude, show him the line. We got the crankcase breather, running over through a rat's nest of everything imaginable and into its own catch can. So they're both hooked up. Check it out. Stoked, both of the catch cans are in. Don't have to worry about oil and blow-by spraying all over the engine bay if it goes down on the dyno. So stay tuned, we're gonna do more fuel system mods next, and then we'll be ready for the dyno.